I'm going to get started to respect all of your time here. First thing first, I do want to make sure that we're here to support you. Just want to remind you that I'm not a financial planner. At the same time, everything we're presenting here today is based on our experiences and collective knowledge at Trust Your Talent. You can see that some of us are here to support you as we're a community. And as we're greeting since the beginning of the webinar, you can tell that we've already known some of the existing students pretty well at the same time. I do want to remind you though, as much as I want to support you and be everything to you, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a mortgage broker. And I do want to be as smart as they are. However, your power team is there to support you. Today, we're going through Lease Option, also known as Rent to Own. So on your power team, these are the important members to help you to get you there. Mortgage broker, accountant, lawyers. I didn't include everybody. Can somebody unmute yourself? Give me another example of somebody that you might need on your power team while you're focusing on specific strategies. Naga. Oh, Raki, unmute yourself. Sorry?
Yeah, all of them. All of them.
All of them for sure. There are more people coming in as well. So thank you for your support team. And don't forget that as investors, put your investor's hat on. I understand that you're not looking for a job. At the same time, you do have to build a team, just like in any business, and treat it as a business as well. You might not think that your mentor is part of your power team. However, all the coaches and all the trainers, mentors on the team are here to support you. We are part of your power team to check your blind spots. You might think, yes, your community is also here to support you as well. I love this quote, so I put this in Chinese to remind myself. It's an old saying, and I think it explains the importance of power team so well. And you are here to be the leader of your team once you build your real estate investing business. If you meet somebody wise, use their wisdom. If you find somebody who is strong, use their strength. If you find somebody who is brave, use their courage. And if you find somebody who are really careful, and it might be the analyticals in the room, I know who you are, use their ability to analyze deals, use their ability to plan. So that's what it means. If you don't have any of the above, I'm never the smartest person in the room. So I do appreciate if you do want to mute yourself and contribute. If you're none of the above, then make sure you have the ability to lead and learn how to utilize your team. That's actually a Chinese saying thousands of years old. However, that summarizes what a power team means to you. Okay, so I just want to share that with you as well. So make sure you reach out to the professionals. They're being trained. I know some of us gone through a lot of traditional schools as well. And yes, they're being trained and their experience is there for you to leverage at the same time. I appreciate you being here. You can leverage our knowledge. You can leverage our experience and leverage other people's money, leverage other people's time as well. And I do want to, again, remind you to turn your cameras on. I notice some of you are moving in and out of the room. That's perfectly fine. Raki, thank you for turning on the camera every time I remind you to. Thank you, and I appreciate that. You look beautiful on camera. And I can tell it's probably an iPad or an iPhone. You're looking this way. It doesn't matter. I do want to recognize that you're here and you're taking action of turning your camera on first thing first. And of course, focus is how you learn. Even though we think being a multitasker might mean that you're efficient, the truth is, as human beings, we can really focus on one thing at a time. We can focus on one thing at a time. I want to respect your time, so I do want to remind you to focus, and if there's any distraction, If you turn your camera on, I can see that you're focusing on the webinar today. So focus on the learning today because you do want to make the best use of your time. Return on investment, that's return on investment of your time. Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for logging in. I see you have your camera on first thing. Thank you.
Hi,
How's
Brooke.
everything?
Good. Hi, everybody. Thanks.
I know there's a lot going on, so I appreciate you logging on to support us as well. And of course, participate when you have the chance to. I get that. I'm very shy myself as well. At the same time as I'm starting the journey, I realize that the more you participate, the more you'll learn. You might be thinking that, hey, I'm sitting here already, I'm learning. The acquisition of knowledge brings satisfaction. So my intention today, for sure, is to bring you some satisfaction of learning. Even if you're already in the investment community, even there's one nugget, and the same thing as I'm joining other people's webinars or events or even reading a book, if there are a few nuggets, that is gonna be worth your time. Same thing for me. Every time I'm hearing the same message in a different way, you might be absorbing the same knowledge in a new lens. And I do hope that that will enhance your knowledge at the same time. So yes, you're sitting here, acquisition of knowledge brings you satisfaction. It's really the action taker. Take it a step forward. The application of knowledge that's gonna bring about fulfillment. Then you can really see that this really works. And I'll show you a few examples, collective experience of those of us on the team, and also my own experience as an investor focusing on lease options, so rent to own as my first baby strategy. I just want to enhance the learning experience for you one more time. If you're reading about it, 10%. So yes, the slides are there to guide you. If you're hearing the words, if you're the type of person that you have to hear it. So perhaps audible books are easier for you to absorb than just reading. So if you're hearing about it, then you're learning 20% more. If you're seeing, so reading, hearing, seeing, and write it down. And yes, there's a lot of resources within TYT. Daily Dose with Tim, and we do have a Facebook group as well. So once you start to be part of the community, there's a lot for you to learn, to read, to see. And please make sure that you take action. Participate. And yes, sometimes I will volunteer you because this is all about you. Participate. And if you're at home and you're really inspired after the webinar, you want to share it with your friend. By the time you're able to repeat what you've learned here, by doing it, by teaching it, by saying it, you're going to enhance your learning to up to 90%. This is science. I'm not making this up. Where's the 10%? I do believe that if you're having fun here, you will remember what you learned. And that's the 10%. That's the 10%. Because people will always remember how you make them feel. So I want you to remember how it feels to be inspired, to be in the community, to be learning more about real estate investing. Okay? Olu, thank you for turning on the camera. I just want to acknowledge that as well. You're one of the first attendees to join me today. So thank you. I love that smile. Thanks for the wave, and I really appreciate your smile. So everybody, you can see each other on the camera at the same time. These are possibly the people you are going to work with as your joint venture, as a deal finder, as your money partner. And I have one more person turning on the camera. Jireen, is that how I pronounce your name?
Yeah.
Jireen?
It's Jareen.
Jireen. Okay, thank you for confirming that.
Thank you.
Amar and Tiffany! Hello, you guys are in the dark. I do want to acknowledge you for turning on the camera.
Sorry, we're just in a random like tea shop, so we got to deal with what we got to deal with. But I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, yes, my long-term friends. Glad to have everybody here today with us. And Mohammed, thank you for being here over and over to make sure that you're taking advantage of the learning experience. And you know the topic today is about how to compress your 40-year retirement plan to 4 years. And at Trust Your Talent, our mission is to help you reach your financial goal in 2 to 4 years. In 2 to 4 years. I understand that everybody is at different stages of life. And for those of you who I haven't met, I do want to learn more about you. I do want to know where you are in your life. For example, Yash, you just got married because you're part of the community. Like a family, we know what you're doing. And Andrew, you have a baby. And Mitch, you have a young kid, slightly older. So Mohammed, you're at a different stage in life. I get that. I'm around there too. So I do want to know where you are in life. And funny enough, a lot of the time, that affects our decision to invest. And regardless of where you are in your life, we're following a system. So if you look at all of us on the team, we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and we started at different stages in our life as well. I love this topic because everybody is focusing on retiring in 40 years and follow the norm until something hits you. So help me learn a little bit more about you. I don't know who voted, so it doesn't matter. If you're a lady and you don't want me to know how old you are, doesn't matter. This is about learning. Okay, Ashley, I'm looking at the poll right now. I will share at the end when everybody answered. Okay? A couple of you. Everybody? Oh, it's still moving. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the results. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Olu, is that how I pronounce your name? Olu? Okay. If you can see the results, most people are between 25 and 60. So you're actually at your prime age of earning ability. And yes, you are here. Perhaps you're thinking about how I can make it more efficient, how I can plan my future better. And I get that we're at different stages in life. Married or not, having kids or not, we all have financial goals. Perhaps it's not passing down the legacy or the wealth to the next generation yet. Or if your kids are already out of the house, we do have a few over 50-year-olds in the group. So I appreciate all of you sharing the results. Depending on where you are in life, perhaps with some life experiences, you're already feeling it. This is a number I constantly collect over time. And if you're following the news today, interest rate went up again. And inflation was up in the last couple of months. Perhaps people can feel the pain even more these days. If you look at the number, these numbers are collected in 2022. So if you look at the numbers, more than half of the Canadians live paycheck to paycheck. I'm putting two people in the circle because I think people who do not know how to manage debt. It doesn't have to be bad debt. So if you're in the group, put your hands up if you know the difference between good debt and bad debt. Okay, almost everybody. However, this is talking about Canadians who feel the crunch and do not feel that they can have control over their life. So more than half of Canadians living paycheck to paycheck. Very, very few people have savings for retirement. For those of you younger than 35, you probably don't feel it yet. You're probably not thinking about retirement yet. However, are you looking at your parents? Or are you feeling the pressure of working and not having control over your time? Again, this is about controlling your financial future. 69% of the people surveyed are saying that they won't have enough money to retire, and life expectancy keeps going up. I'm showing you the reality because, yes, at different stages in our lives, perhaps you don't have a mortgage yet, or perhaps you're at the point that you're paying off your mortgage, or you've saved up 40 years already. And 31% of Canadians are not able to pay off their credit card debt. And this is just talking about credit card. I will talk about how you manage debt and how you leverage credit card. So the point is about having control. Investor is about having control. If you don't have pen and paper ready yet, or if you do have pen and paper ready, write it down. Investors are about having control. Control of your time. I'm not saying you have control of what's going on tomorrow. However, you do have control over your choices. Control of your time, control of your money, and money is debt. By the way, if you haven't watched the video, Debt as Money or Money as Debt, make sure you check it out. There's several versions of it on YouTube. And this is the most recent data. If you look at the date of the news, these are all information published in 2023. Jareen, you look really young. However, if you have parents or grandparents, I assume you probably see the same thing. And there's a growing number of people who are interested or leveraging reverse mortgage. And this is a new topic we're actually adding to our curriculum because more and more people are looking at different vehicles when it comes to retirement. And most people pay off their mortgage just before they retire. So I think the average number is around 60 to 65 years old. And just imagine that by the time you're 65, or if you don't have any financial vehicles to help you control your finances, what do most people do? Have you heard your grandparents or your parents saying, our house is our asset, or the only asset we have by the time that they retire? And at the same time, once they retire, if they just depend on OH security or RSP to make up the difference, a lot of people have to rely on reverse mortgage. At the same time, the likelihood of the new generation being homeowners is going down. And if you look at another statistics, by the age of 75, most likely a lot of people have to move to retirement homes. A lot of the time, not because of finances, not because they have to sell their homes. A lot of the time, it's because of health reasons. So a lot of people depend on their home as their retirement plan. And as investors, you can think about then how do I leverage that information? Or the strategy we're going to talk about today. How can I help the generation today to be homeowners? So at least they do have a piece of real estate to help them retire in the future. So by the time they're 75, basically 10 years of mortgage-free period of time, they're going to move to retirement homes. And why do people settle for the plan of working 40 years, pay mortgage for 25, 30 years, and only retire on 40% of the income while they work 40 hours per week for 40 years? If I look at the age group in the group today, most people are within that 40 years, your prime earning age, 25 to 65. So that's your 40 years. How are you going to leverage your time, your energy? Do you really want to stick to the 40-year plan? Why do people follow the 40-40-40 plan? Number one, because in Canada, even though we don't call ourselves communist, At the same time, a lot of people are depending on the government to take care of them. So OH security, for example, will give you perhaps around over $1,000. And I'm not judging, however, think about the lifestyle you want to have. Is that really enough for you? Are you really going to retire on 40% of your prime earning income? And what's the number two reason? They don't plan for the future. Because people cannot relate to their future self. Any of you look a lot like your parents? Oh, Suzanne, you do. I'm sorry. Even though there's a little mix in you. If you're wondering how it is like in the future, if you just look at your parents, actually, I think I'm more senior than most of you. Time really flies, especially for those of you who have kids. For those of you who have kids. If you look at their picture 2-3 years ago, Andrew, so soon, anyways, you'll see how fast time flies. However, nobody thinks they're going to die tomorrow. Nobody thinks that they're going to get old. That's why nobody plans for the future. And number three, people don't want to face it. They doubt there's another way. And for those of you in the room here today, I know that you're here because you know and you think there is another way. And even if you're not familiar with real estate investing yet, you're here to explore. So you don't have to continuously follow the 40-40-40 plan that the world has set out for you. I know a lot of people are educated in the room and follow the plan that once you graduate from university, so you're around 23, 24 years old, you work 40 years and then plan for your retirement. And why do you need 40 years? Why do you need to work and pay off your mortgage for 40 years? Because this is the plan. If you don't know what the 4% rule is, make sure you talk to any financial planner at major banks. Anybody have RSP with the major banks? Yes. And if you don't, perhaps your money is already out working for you as real estate investors. And at the same time, that's what a lot of people are following. Either in the States or Canada, the 4% rule says take out only 4% of whatever money you have. Or let's assume that you just need to live off $40,000 a year. Because perhaps your prime earning year, you're making $100,000. 40% of that, let's assume you only need $40,000. As somebody who has lost one parent, so when my father retired, his health deteriorated. And no, it doesn't just cost 40% of the income, because you do want somebody to be home there with them. And if you don't want to, it's a nation thing. We rarely put our parents in a retirement home. We do want everybody to be under the same roof. So imagine how much it costs to have somebody there to constantly attend to him. And if you're doing the same, I've seen other grandparents wanting to spend time with their grandchildren. So luckily, one of the grandparents, so my kids' grandparents, took everybody to Disney. So once you're retired, really, are you going to spend less? Do you want to work 40 years just so that you can cut down on expenses? So I'm going to use the numbers to show you why do you need 40 years. Let's assume you're going to take off 4%. That means that you have to save up $1 million. Actually, the survey says Canadians think they only need about $760,000 to retire. However, that's a number people just randomly come up with. They think that's all they need. If you follow the 4% rule and take off $40,000 a year to live on, if we use the Stats Canada's number, if you are medium age, medium income, the median net worth in Canada is $329,000. So around that net worth, you're around the age of 30 something. So let's just run the numbers. Let's just run the numbers based on the data we have. Assuming that you are working towards your goal of $1 million at the time you're retiring, by the time you're retiring. So you start from, so if you just look at the data previously presented to you, if you look at the average net worth by the age of 35, it's 234. So it's just the data from StatsCan. By the time you're 35 years old, you have worked roughly about 12 years. If you're educated, you graduated from post-secondary school. And a lot of the financial planner, again, legally, nobody's supposed to guarantee any return for the purpose of running the numbers. And when they run the numbers with you, they will make assumption that perhaps your retirement money or mutual funds with the bank will make 6% of return. I'm going to use simple math, the rule of 72. Anybody not familiar with it? It's okay. Okay, good. Everybody's familiar with it. I'm still going to put it out there. The formula is, if you want to double your money, you look at what's the interest rate or the return you're supposed to get in order to double your money in how many years. So say, for example, 72 divided by 12 years. That means you need 6% of return to double your money, okay? And vice versa. So if we just use that formula to do some quick math, that means that if you work another 12 years, by the time you're 47, you're worth about $500,000. If we use the 6% rule, that means by that time you've worked 24 years. Then you work another 30, by the time you work 36 years, another 12 years, if you use the rule of 72 using 6%, your net worth is going to be around $936,000. And you can see why you need 40 years to accumulate $1 million. So for another 6 years, if you work another 6 years, roughly you can get $1 million. Roughly you can accumulate $1 million if we just sticks with the numbers. That's why you need to work 40 years, 40 hours per week, full time, and then live on $40,000. So that's a 4% rule. And I do understand that, yes, you do have choices. You do not have to follow that. Life today is about choices. I don't even know how to pronounce half of the coffee choices. And this is what we're facing today. You do have choices. You do have choices. You do not have to stick to the 40-40-40 rule. And for those of you who are real estate geeks, the picture I presented on the side, these are crown moldings. There's 12 crown moldings to choose from if you really want choices. And you happen to choose to be here to spend your Wednesday evening with everybody here. So I welcome you that if you're new still in the community, you made the choice to take the first step. And I understand there's a lot of things you can do. And even within the TYT community, there are two things happening today. There's a TYT Connect. So in London, Ontario area, we do have a meetup today as well. And there's so many members in the community today. So at least 4 or 5 of you in the group, I can see it from your screen, that you're here with us today. And take a picture of it if you do want to connect with us. If you do want to connect with us. A lot of it is just to get you immersed in the experience. So all of our curriculum is 1 or 2 year commitment, 1 to 2 year commitment. And yes, it sounds like a long-term relationship, and we're here by choice. And for those of us who have been investing for more than 2 years, or who have been in the community more than 2 years, I'm doing this today because my intention is to make sure you're taking a step forward. I'll just be really open with you. I know it might be a cliche. If you're into a lot of webinars, if you're into personal development, we talk about the goals a lot. At the same time, you do want to have clarity. You do want to have clarity. I got this question a lot. Real estate journey doesn't seem to be easy. So what helps you to get through the humps? What helps you to get through the humps? Anybody want to share? If not, I'm going to pick on somebody who's been in the community. And you can be really honest. Suzanne, what help you to get through the humps or when you have doubts?
You know, I had the opportunity to sit with Tim last Thursday in Ottawa at our TYT Connect, and I asked him this question.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. It's not planned.
Yeah, and he spoke to me for quite some time, and then all the way to my van. They walked me back to my van, and he said basically what you said earlier is that you know that you're in the driver's seat. When you're working a 9 to 5, you don't have a whole lot of choices. You have to ask for vacation time. You have to ask for sick time. You know, and often it's denied. You're denied it. And with real estate investing, even though there are stressful times, you're still in the driver's seat.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Suzanne, for sharing. At the same time, I'll be honest, for me, and Suzanne, it's like you sitting next to Tim, and we're always here to support each other. It's never going to be the same. It seems like the environment, the market itself is always changing. That never changes. At the same time, it's really the community. I can give you as much information as you need, and you can sit through as many seminars, as many webinars with us as you want. At the same time, for a lot of people that are not taking any action, mainly there's the support. If you know somebody will handhold you throughout the process, wouldn't you think your chance of being successful is higher? So I do want to put it out there. If you haven't joined the Talented Facebook group, make sure you do. And these are just the activities in June. Okay, I will have QR code at the end of the webinar so you can take pictures. And I know you're here to learn about a specific strategy. How do you compress 40 years of financial plan into 4 years? And every time we talk about different strategies, I hope this is not the first time you see how we follow the system. There is a system. The real estate investing fundamentals stays the same. And if you talk to any of us, Nina, Andrew, Vince, who happen to be here today, we will tell you exactly the same thing. However, we're all different. We're different people. We all started at different age. And I will take you through the journey and the reason why I chose Lease Option as my focus strategy when I started. And you can use the fundamentals to strategize with your strategy coaches. Lease Option might not be for you. It might be. I just want you to have some clarity to see the path. Like we said, the REI fundamentals is always the same. And we do follow the system. If you don't have clarity yet, I mentioned that I actually wrote down what my intention is. Sometimes it helps if you just write it down. To be here with you today. First, I want you to see that there is a path. With the 1 hour and a half, 2 hours you have here, as much as I want to be here with you the whole night, you might not be able to know every single thing about Lease Option. I do want you to move forward and see that there is a path. And Nina will also present one of her example of Lease Option today. Number 2, you can see that it's doable, and some of us have already achieved some results. Even if you're in the community, even if you're still new, everybody is moving forward. And I have to say, a lot of the students are moving a lot faster than us because you're building upon the experiences. You don't have to reinvent the wheels. And the third thing is, I do want you to hear the stories. So when you reach out to the strategy coaches, tell us your story. Everybody's story is different. Just like most of you are at different stages in life compared to me. I'm a little bit more senior than most of you. So for you, it might be because you just want to have a little bit more income so you can travel or the time. These are some of the activities I found, or if you love to sing and dance, you want to have more time for that. So to help you have a little bit of clarity, I do want to know about why you're doing this. Let me run the second poll. I hope that worked. Okay. Okay. Nina, are you able to see if it works on your end since you're a co-host?
Yeah.
See if you can run the second poll.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna
Oh,
exit.
I got this.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'm not tacky. I found a way to do it. Okay. Can everybody see it now? Okay. Click on one that best describes your situation. Commitment, Will, you're cutting hair and in the webinar with me. We're blessed with different technologies. Okay, people are still participating. The needle is still moving.
Not to mention, Will also got his first deal not too long ago. So while cutting hair and getting deals done. So just FYI.
Thank you, Will, for being here. So your client can also hear what we're doing here too. Okay, I think most people participated. Okay. The result is pretty consistent. Okay, I'm sharing results. Can everybody see the screen? Yes? Can everybody see? Thank you, Mitch, for the thumbs up. Consistent cash flow. And number 2 is get out of your job. I guess not everybody loves your job like Will does. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That gives me an idea why you're here. Your intention. That's your intention. My intention is to move you forward so you can reach that goal that you just shared with me. The reason why you're here. And the point is, yes, if you're here, you're moving towards your goal. And even if you do not take action in the past, you're taking the first step, taking action today. So I do want to applaud you for that. And thank you for participating and being so patient when I didn't know if my computer worked. Thank you for that. And thank you for putting in the answer. And I get that at times you might not know your why. You might not know your why. I've gone through that as well. And you might be telling me, I just want to get out of my job. And you can also dig a step further. Why do you want to get out of your job? Is it the time? Or do you want to focus on the activities that you love, as I shown in the previous slide? And get very strategic about how to get yourself there. How to get yourself there. Since number 1 answer was to get out of your job, is that because it's draining? It's stressful. Thank you for the nods. If you're focusing on the activity that doesn't move you towards your purpose, it is draining. It is draining. And yes, we all admit real estate investing journey might not always be smooth. At the same time, we're still in it. We're still in it. At Trust Your Talent, we're all goal-oriented. We're all goal-oriented. If you do not know your why yet, this is our core value. We want to help you. And if you look at the 5 things, health, sustainability, joy, fulfillment, impact, at any point in life, one might resonate with you more compared to the other ones. So if you do not know what your goals are yet, that's perfectly fine. And even if you have a goal, and if you reach your goal already, then pivot, look for something else. We're constantly improving. We constantly do that. And depending, again, stage in your life, when my father was going through health issue, I thought health was the most important thing. And as I am part of the team, I realized having the ability to share my experience And seeing students achieving their goal, the fulfillment for me means success. So everybody could be different at different stages in your life. Take care of yourself first. So at this point in your life, if health is important to you, take care of yourself first. It's like you have to rescue yourself first before you can help anybody else. And at Trust Your Talent, we don't just focus on one strategy. That's why we can all pivot when the market changes. Even if you're focusing on one strategy, you might want to use different tools that you've acquired throughout your journey. And there's not just one strategy. I've seen people suffering because they focus on one strategy. If they don't know how to deal with it when the market pivots, it might work in the past. What if things change? What if things change? And that's why we always mention that you want to look for multiple exit strategies. At least focus on 3 hard strategies. We used to say 2, and as the market changes, as a big environment change, people with more tools usually have more ways of pivoting at the same time. So yes, it could be overwhelming when you look at it. Our goal is to be the Harvard of financial education. So speak to your strategy coaches. When people are new to the community, they asked us, how is our curriculum different from other real estate investing groups? I would say it's like university. You don't just learn about statistics, then think you can graduate. I know there are engineers in their group, and they're software engineers and pharmacists, etc. You don't just take one class and think that you're seasoned, you're educated investor. So just to give you an idea, this is the type of curriculum we're offering. At the same time, why do we look at different strategies? And if you look at your personal goals, it could be different reasons. Oh, I think my PowerPoint just shut down. Can everybody see the share screen now? Am I still sharing? Okay, good. And we do have different strategies, as I mentioned. However, everybody has short-term, mid-term, long-term goals at different stages in life. I understand that when you're young and you're energetic, you want to be involved, you want to flip properties, and you want wholesale deals. I get that. When you're reaching a point of your life that you have accumulated some capital, perhaps you're focusing on mid-term and long-term goals. So if you look at different strategies, by the way, LO stands for lease option. That's what we're focusing on today. Lease option. SA, service accommodation. Service accommodation. And you're looking at short-term, mid-term, long-term, how you're going to look at your portfolio. Again, this is about financial education. So if you do want to have short-term, mid-term, long-term goals, you do want to have different mix in your portfolio. And everybody is different. Everybody is different. This just gives you an idea of what's out there. At the same time, it aligns with the type of financing you would want to look at. Okay? And why do we focus on so many different strategies? And at the same time, anybody heard of multiple streams of income? Yes? On average, do you know people with high net worth, how many streams of income they normally have? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. Omar, unmute yourself. How many streams of income do you want to have?
I mean, I would love to have like 30, but I think the average is probably maybe 5.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you're very close. I heard the number is 7. You might have, when you have several streams of income, you might miscalculate and forget 1 or 2. However, it's about scaling your business. And at Trust Your Talent, we're goal-focused investors. So you might have portfolio income, earned income, or passive income. And if you're already part of the group, you're very familiar with it, However, I do want to stress that if you are looking at your goals again, and I look at this probably every quarter or every half a year, things change, market could change. Or you might want to reevaluate your goals, or all of a sudden you realize, hey, my wife is pregnant, or we're going to expect a baby, or something happens in life. Things could change. And if you're young or if you're towards retirement age, you might want to focus on more passive income. Personally, I love to focus on different things. I love variety. I love multiple streams of income. If you're trading your time for money, you can look at strategies like fix and flip or distressed properties, wholesale. These are the type of strategies that you will constantly need to look for new strategies to replace the income. Passive income, cash flow, number one thing. So as simple as revenue minus expenses, and that's your cash flow. And depending on the strategy you're gonna be focusing on, you look at finances differently too. So cash flow, if you're looking at cash flow, perhaps you're looking at income property. We focus on income property. Income property means that the property brings money in your pocket every month. If you have to put money into the property, that's not income property. You're speculating for appreciation, etc. So that's what separates you from amateur investors. Private lending, hard money, paper asset, that's your portfolio. That's your portfolio income. And depending on where you are, there's nothing wrong with having a mix of different strategies or different incomes in your portfolio. And once you have your goal, and if you look at the wheel of fortune, then you decide what your strategies are. Mohammed, what does S&P stand for? Unmute yourself. I can see you're talking. You just forgot to unmute yourself.
S&P stands for
Strategy.
Market. S&P market strategy properties.
Yes, properties. Yes, thank you for sharing. And I'll give you real stories. During the time, I think since probably last November until now, I get a lot of messages from people who focus on property first, and they don't know what to do with the property. One thing is because they start from property first and they don't have multiple exit strategies. That's why you want to learn about different strategies so you have multiple exits when the market turns. When the market was hot, a lot of people wanted to get into it and just hope for appreciation. So remember, strategy first. It doesn't matter which market you're in. Yes, a lot of people focus on the property first. And when the strategy that fits your goal doesn't work in certain markets, you don't have to. You don't have to be in a specific market. You don't have to just invest in your backyard. So this is a map I have just in Ontario of all the lease options that I have or had. I don't know everything about every single market. However, the market works for the strategy I was focusing on. It works for the strategy that I was focusing on. It doesn't really matter. So remember, S&P. And write down your goals, guys. If you already know what your goals are, go back to the Wheel of Fortune. And I remember when I started investing, I was really pumped and I got a lot of deals. However, I didn't reach my financial freedom goal. Because I was excited to take on a lot of deals. And when I look at a whole list of deals, that didn't help me reach my financial goal of financial freedom. Because remember, you constantly have to go back, review your goals, decide on where you want to invest. And that's when Tim came in and said, Brooke, have you reviewed the basics? So every year in the beginning of the year, or whatever your financial physical year is, or when things change in your life, go back and review how you want to allocate your income. By the way, right now, for me, real estate is a passion project. So sometimes I just want to do a flip deal. Sometimes I just feel like decorating. Sometimes I just want to get my hands dirty. I'm not handy by any means. Sometimes even if I have to hang up something, I call the handyman. However, again, you have your power team, and that's why everybody's here. And yes, we are part of your power team too in the future. And if you don't know what your goals are yet, reach out to one of the strategy coaches. And also, if you have any question, I'm here. Feel free to reach out to me as well. And take action. If you just think about it, even if you don't take any action, the fact that you're here, at least you're thinking about it. If you just think about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, you're a lot closer. You make it possible. It's only when you schedule it, it's real. And I like to add another quote I recently heard. Things without a deadline never gets done, which is true. Because I get that. Everybody has a lot going on in your life. If you don't put a deadline on it, it never gets done. And I remind you to schedule a call with your strategy coaches. So if you don't have a strategy coach yet, Andrew and Nina are here, and you can also take a picture of the QR code. Take a picture of the QR code. Call to action. And I do want to remind you that yes, lease option is one of the strategies. And I'll show you why I focus on the strategy to start my real estate journey. Again, just like trust your talent, you focus on the strategy that help you reach your goal. Same thing with tenant buyers, same thing with investors. Just to give you a brief definition what tenant buyers are. So these are the people that come into your program. They are tenant first, and in the hope that they will be home buyers one day. Again, our goal is to help them become homeowners. Goal driven, and we want to create a win-win. It is a creative financing strategy. You don't just use it to help others. At the same time, it could be an acquisition strategy. Just put it out there. It's more advanced. At this point, we're going to focus on we find the people first. We find the tenant first. Strategy first. We don't find the property first. And we focus on win-win-win situation. Number one, cash flow. That's the reason I focus on the strategy when I started. I want to see real estate education actually worked. And it could actually create the cash flow I was looking for to cover our basic expenses. Remind you, we're a family of 4 and kids of numerous activities. My family is in Taiwan, so I constantly have to travel back, especially at the time when my dad's health was deteriorating. So our expenses were high. I was really looking for a strategy that could show me how to create cash flow because I'm in the GTA. And we did have one investment property. I don't see cash flow. It does help us create some wealth because we were fortunate. However, we're not speculators. We do see property values go up. And even with that money, we didn't know what to do with it. Really, our money wasn't working for us. We were just sitting on it. So number one, cash flow, looking for return on investment. Return on investment doesn't just mean money. Return on your time. If your money can run faster for you, you can collapse time. Return on investment. Again, it's not just about money. It's about how fast your money can run for you. Return on your time and how fast you can reach your goal. Number 3, money in the buy. And I will show you how that works. I put up this picture, randomly picked a few tenant buyers when I was doing a presentation probably a year ago. And I'm very happy to say that all of them have succeeded. There's only one family here and the process of qualifying for a mortgage and exercising their option to purchase. And half of them are immigrants. And I have to give you some background. Everybody has a story. And I'm so happy that I was able to be part of their story. to be part of their growth. And when people are given the opportunity, they really cherish the opportunity to be homeowners, to grow. So this is a hand up, not a handout. And they do see that. The reason one of the tenant buyers is still in the program is because the husband and wife, both lost their jobs at the time. However, they were still willing to work with me. And one of them was actually a bus driver, Greyhound driver. And at that time, the business wasn't operating. And he was actually looking for something to replace that income. So he quickly went on training to become a truck driver. And it wasn't easy. I did see him trying to succeed. And I'm happy to say we're actually making more profit because the program extended for another 8 months. And I'm happy to see them succeed. By the way, I have all their consent to show the pictures. So do everything ethically, legally. That's how we do things at Trust Your Talent. Same thing, I asked for their consent to share their success stories. And some of the stories are also in my book. Because they also want to help others to succeed, to become homeowners at the same time. And this is really not a seminar about me. I just want to share my journey. There might be some similarities to you as an immigrant or as somebody who just want to start the journey somewhere. When I first started the journey, I actually just started working. So I stayed with my kids for 10 years at home. I just started the journey and I already realized that work doesn't help us reach our financial goals. We pay more tax. I have to contribute to RSP in order to reduce tax. And at the same time, as kids are growing up, their activities got really pricey and more expensive. And of course, you want to give them the opportunity to test everything out. So I started the journey thinking that I just want to see if it works. And even though we're spending more time, we're double income, we're actually not any further. I had zero income during the time I was a stay-at-home mom. And actually, my only RSP was spousal RSP too. I felt like I was depending on everybody. And even though that's how mothers are like, we contribute a lot to the family. At the same time, we felt like we're really not contributing. That's why I want to test out if real estate works. Because if somebody's willing to show me the way, I'm really willing to invest in myself. We were financially okay, because even with one income, when my husband was the only one working, we were still okay. And I realized that you have to follow the path of other people who have already done it. That's why I wrote a book. That's why I'm inspired to speak, because I was crazy shy growing up. Asians by nature are quiet. At the same time, I'm also, compared to other Asians, even more quiet. And I was lucky that people are willing to put in the effort to train me, even in school. The teacher noticed that. And same thing at Trust Your Talent. I realized that mentors, my instructors, were really just wanting to see me succeed. And actually, my ultimate goal was to live in a bigger house for my family. We're in Toronto. Right now, we're still in a home of 1,200 square foot, a semi-detached. And my son is 6'3", so I imagine how crazy it is to be in a small space. And he cannot even stand up in the basement. So my goal was always to find a home. I have to say that even though it is a personal goal, the fact that we were able to jump in and have the courage and no fear to put in offers, etc., was because of the real estate training. I'll give you one example. Because at the time, we were thinking, if we increase our budget for our home, at the time, for example, $100,000 or mortgage, if you increase your budget by $100,000, I'll use today's number then. If you increase your budget by $100,000, that means I have to put in probably $600 per month extra in terms of mortgage. Rough number. You can run it, go to Rate Hub, etc., use an app. I'm giving you a rough number to give you an idea how to focus on your financial goal. If you say, I want to have another $100,000 as my budget to afford the mortgage, a lease option deal, one deal, if it's joint venture, so if you share your wealth with somebody else, you could get $600 of cash flow per month. I will show you the numbers. And that's how you reach your financial goals. So Naga, for example, if your living expenses is say $6,000 a month, and each lease option can bring you $600. Just focus on having 10 deals. That's how you look at your financial goals. And everything starts from a blueprint, just like my house. It starts from a vision. And then you can build it, just like your financial future. Same thing with helping the tenant. I found there's a lot of similarities when it comes to having the vision of helping other people. At Trust Your Talent, our mission is to help you reach your financial independence goal in 2 to 5 years. Coincidence? And our goal as lease option managing partner is to help create a deal, structure a deal, so the tenant buyers could achieve their goals in 2 to 4 years. In 2 to 4 years, so they could be homeowners. And yes, in a lot of examples we're giving, we're always aiming to create a win-win-win-win situation for everybody. We will make a profit. The tenant buyer will become homeowners at the end of the program, And investors could still make a profit at the same time. I love it because there's abundance in the world. You're building a professional power team to set up the tenant for success. So to give you some background, at Trust Your Talent, we don't say rent to own. We say lease options. Because if you just look at the contract, there's a lease in place. During the time they're in the program, there is a lease to keep them as tenant. Well, while we help them build up their credit scores, build up savings. So whatever they save up could be converted to down payments once they decide to exercise their option to purchase. So everything I said, there's a reason for it. I didn't say down payment, even though a lot of people do. I didn't say they have to buy it. It's not the obligation, it's the option to purchase. They have choices. It's not a deposit. Remember, they don't have equity stake yet. So make that clear. Everything is subtle because I realize that sometimes if tenants think they already have equity in it, I had a tenant who actually leased out the place without me knowing. And then I found out because they think they're already owners. And remember, they cannot use it as collateral either. So make sure you speak as a professional investor. So they have the option to purchase. They have the right to purchase. And if you're familiar with legal terms, they have the first right of refusal. And it's an option to purchase. They do not have the obligation to purchase. However, they have stake in the game. If they're committed, their chances of exercising their option is high. That's what it's all about. And you, as the investor or the landlord during that time, there is no headache of repairing because it's tenant buyer in training. They pay for all the repairs, they pay for all the utilities. At the same time, they have the rights, the option to purchase. Okay? And yes, it's also known as rent to own in the marketplace. There's amazing cash flow. I will show you how and how the numbers are calculated. If it's your first time, I'll be completely honest with you. Personally, I'm not a math genius, even though I'm Asian. So even during the time I was already out there talking to mortgage brokers, I have to look at my notes. And I have to run the numbers carefully and slowly. So if it's your first time running through the numbers, just go through the numbers with me. Go through the thought process with me. And we're looking at amazing cash flow, acquisition costs. Anybody remember money in the buy? Money in the buy when we talk about different buckets of income. When the tenant buyer comes in the program, they put in what's called initial IOC. Write it down if you don't know what IOC stands for. Initial option consideration. Mohammed, thank you. I know you're great at taking notes. Initial option consideration. Basically, that means that they come in to say, I want to have the right to purchase. And you can use that money for initial investment, towards closing costs, towards down payment. Meaning that you have some money in the buy. your initial investment is reduced as a result. And number 3 is about control. You have a defined profit because you know in the contract how much the tenant buyer will purchase the property at if they decide to exercise their option to purchase. There's 0 vacancy because you already have a tenant. You don't have to advertise to find a tenant in the property. There's no repair cost. However, I do want to remind you that usually I will remind the tenant buyer, don't go crazy on renovating. I love that they look at it as their home. At the same time, I don't want them to overspend and hurt their credit again. I do have tenants like that too. They got too excited. And tenant buyer, for them, they could choose a home that they do want to live in. So remember, we're talking about people first strategy. Some people are asking about, what if I have a property first? Can we do a lease option? The focus here today is people first lease option strategy. We call them homeowner in training because remember, they haven't owned the property yet. At the same time, yes, it is their home, homeowner in training, and they will be homeowners in 2 to 4 years. We carefully screen the tenants to make sure they fit the program. They're committed that this is a program they can succeed in. And in the 2 to 4 year period, we can help them repair their credit. We can help them save up so they have enough towards the down payment while they're renting. Remember, towards the down payment, once they decide to exercise their option. And in every stage of the lease option program, we'll show you there is profit to be made as investor. So remember, we mentioned initial option consideration when they come in the program. It doesn't just help you with initial investment. At the same time, it shows their commitment. They have stake in the game. And during the program, cash flow. Besides the market rent, they're putting in what we call monthly option consideration, which will be saved up and towards the down payment once they decide to proceed with the sales. So monthly cash flow. So once you come in the program, there's initial option consideration to help with an initial investment for the investor. Second stage, cash flow. Besides the market rent, they put in what's called monthly option consideration, which will be saved up towards the down payment at the end of the program. Okay. So far, so good. Doreen, is it the first time you hear about lease option? No. All right. Oh, Lou, is it the first time you hear about lease option? No.
No.
Wow, okay. I could go a little bit faster. We have smart students in the group. Okay. And of all the things that you require to qualify for a mortgage, can anybody tell me the 3 things that you need to qualify for a mortgage to purchase a property? Lou, give it a shot. Give me 1 or 2 things you think you will require.
Sure. Income qualification, you need a down payment. And I guess, I don't know, credit.
You got it.
Yeah.
That was easy for you. Thank you for the participation. And as much I want to help my tenant buyer, I'm not going to provide them with a job. So we can help them save up down payment. We can help them fix their credit during this time. And I can tell you there are times I do want to help them find a job and increase their income. At the same time, I also have tenant buyers coming to me saying, I'm a renter now. I want to be a homeowner. Then I want to do what you do, become an investor. And hi, Tabish. And at the same time, you have to qualify the tenant buyer. They are the reason that the program will succeed. They will succeed in the program, and you can make a profit as an investor. So these are the simple questions. Name and contacts, of course, how long they have been in the present address, and reason they want to move. Again, we have an intention for all the questions. Anybody want to give a shot why you want to ask these questions? Anybody want to give a shot? Some people turn off their camera. Naga, thank you for muting yourself.
It's because to identify if they are really committed into getting their home, considering that they are tenant buyers.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
your investment is safe and you have your exit strategy clear.
Exactly. And reason we're asking how long they have been in the present address, a lot of the time it's also looking for consistency. And have you gone through a bankruptcy, foreclosure? These are the questions that help them on the financial side. And also see if they're committed. And a lot of the times they want to build a home. That's why we want to ask them about their pets, about their family. Really, all the questions we're asking, number one, are they committed to be homeowners? If they have savings at the time, that's because they do want to save up to become homeowners. Then we can also determine the purchase price at the end, the expectation. Number two, are they willing to invest in their future? Remember, this is a long-term relationship. I mean, it's long-term compared to a lot of the marriages these days. So 2 to 4 years. Are they going to be committed in the program to 2 to 4 years? I've also heard some rental programs have been extended to 5 years. So really, are they committed to invest in their future? This is not an easy path because besides the rent, every month they have to save up towards the down payment. So are they willing to invest in their future? Are they coachable? Number three, because a lot of the time they need to follow credit repair actions. They need to follow credit repair actions. At the same time, just like when you talk to your strategy coaches, we have to look at their income and expenses to see how we can help them. We can perhaps help them save up a little bit and to make sure they're even closer to securing the home towards home ownership. Number one, being committed. Number two, they have to be willing to invest in their future. Number three, are they coachable? Missing any of these elements, they're not going to succeed. So we carefully screen our tenants. And that's why all the people I have shown on the screen have been successful, because we go through the qualification process. That was just a questionnaire I use, and it could be an easy conversation. The point is you have to qualify the tenant buyer. And for yourself, look at what are the exit strategies. At Trust Your Talent, we always look at multiple exit strategies. If the tenant buyer does not succeed, knock on wood, we carefully screen them and things happen. If they are not able to succeed in the program, what am I going to do with this property? Can I convert it to a service accommodation property, student rental, Airbnb, executive rental, or can I sell it in the market? And right now, a lot of people are looking into adding another unit, additional dwelling unit in the backyard. And is that market big enough if I want to sell the property in the end? So let's run the numbers now. I know a lot of you are eager to run the numbers. This is an actual example. I love to show the example when I see the houses. I look at the tenant buyers and let's run the numbers too. This is a 3-year program and this is in Orangeville, Ontario. At the time we purchased the property, the market was really hot. So it wasn't easy to secure a property. And we were able to get the property at $470 for 3 years. It's a 3-year program. They're immigrants. And there are 2 or 3 or 4 people that are working in the household. So mom and dad, the kids are working part-time. Option to purchase, we appreciate the property at 5%. And the property today could worth easily $600,000. However, the point is we're focusing on helping the tenants. Don't get greedy. We still get great cash flows and the tenant buyers get equity in their property. So option to purchase price is at $544. Keep the number in mind. If you're not familiar with the numbers yet, let's just go through the numbers. So at acquisition, they come in the program with $15,000. By the way, the monthly rent is about $2,400 and monthly option $1,150. Our goal was to help them save up 10% at the end of the program. So if the property value is going to be at 544, let me rephrase that. Option purchase price is at 544. That means we're saving up 10%, so roughly $54,000, plus a little bit more. Reason being, I do want to make sure they have enough money for closing as well. And in this case, if we look at it from the investor's point of view, investors will be responsible for mortgage, property tax, insurance. So we call it PD payments: principal, interest, property tax, and insurance. In this case, it's $1,900. If we add up the $2,400 in rent and monthly option, 3,550 minus 1,900, that is your cash flow per month. That is your cash flow per month. So if you're able to qualify by yourself and you found the deal, $1,650 per month. If you're working with a joint venture partner, assuming, for example, it's $825 a month. Joint venture could be really creative. I'm just putting it out there. You can structure 40%, 60%, 35, 65, 50, 50, for example. And you will learn more about it in our more advanced class as well. And at the same time, you're going to have monthly cash flow. So remember acquisition, that was the first stage. They come in with $15,000. Every month, you're getting $3,550. And how do we calculate the monthly option? Remember, we want to help them save up 10% at the end. So I actually set up this presentation for people who know nothing about lease option. So if you're not understanding, raise your hand. That is on me. Monthly option, if they already put in $15,000 and we want to help them save up 10% in 36 months. So 10%, roughly 54,000 minus 15, divided by 36 months. That's how much they're aiming to save up every month. And that's how we come up with the monthly option number. Okay. So far, so good. I see a couple of people looking confused, so I will repeat that. How we help them succeed in the program is help them save up to 10%. And if we decide that they can purchase a property at 544 at the end of the program, 10% of that, roughly 54,000. So if they already put in 15,000 to come in the program, 54,000 minus 15, which they already put in, and the rest is how much they need to save throughout the 3 years. Divide that by 36 months, which is 3 years. That's how much they need to put in on top of the market rent every month. So like I mentioned, it might not be easy for a lot of people. They need to become committed and they want to invest in their future. So monthly cash flow is $1,650. If we just look at the cash flow, $1,650 times 36 months. That's your profit from cash flow during the program. Profit from sale, we already set the option purchase price at $544. So you can see that at the end of the program, you can also look at today's number. However, just run the numbers with me. So at the end of the program, for example, if you have a mortgage balance of $350,000, so 544 minus 350,000 minus the legal cost. And remember, the tenant buyer will get the total option credit back to them. So after everything is deducted, remember there's no agent involved. It's a private sale. In the advanced class, you also learn how to go through private sale without going through an agent. That's actually the question I get asked a lot, because some people take on a lease option, they don't know how to close it. And again, that's why the community is here to support you in case you have any questions. Total profit from sale. Remember, we already mentioned cash flow. From sale is the proceed from sale minus you have to pay off the mortgage. There's mortgage pay down, of course. You have to pay the legal cost depending on where you are. Some of you, luckily in Alberta, you don't have land transfer tax. And everybody will encounter lawyer fees at the end of the program. So the total profit from sale is $49,600. deal summary, your total profit is a cash flow throughout the program and proceeds at the end of the program. In total, your profits is just over $100,000. Remember, it's a 3-year program. When you calculate the profit, how much in, how much out, that is your return on investment. Your profit is 109, and then you put in 86,500 divided by 3 years. That is your return on investment. Okay. So far, so good, everybody. Yes. If you do want to review the slides at the end of the seminar, we will send you the slides. Reach out to us. We will send you the slides. Action takers only, though. And keep in mind, this is the 3 to 5 year plan. If we want to help you reach your financial goal in 3 to 5 years, or even 2 to 5 years, if you just focus on this one strategy, I'm using this example to just run through the numbers with you. Remember year 1, if you find one deal like this, property at $460,000, and if you just find a starter home for the homeowners, first deal, if you do 1 deal per season, year 1, you do 4 deals. So you get $15,000 as initial option consideration. It's an accounting question. However, you do consider it as your income the year you receive the initial option consideration. So your income would be $15,000 if you have 4 deals like this. Just go through the numbers with me. You will have $60,000 that help you with your initial investment. Cash flow, if we have $1,650 per month, if you have 4 deals like that, in year 1, that's your income, $102,900. If you don't use your own money, if you're not able to qualify for a mortgage and you're sharing your wealth with the community, with people who understand the strategy. By the way, I prefer to work with people who are trained and understand how the strategy works. And perhaps one day you'll be the managing partner, and that is your responsibility as well, to work with your investor. If you don't have the down payment, if you don't have an initial investment ready, find a deal. Money will follow. Even if you're sharing wealth 50-50, you're making $825 per month per deal. Same thing. We're assuming that you only have 4 deals a year. You only have 4 deals per year. And I call it a seasonal plan. So if you have 1 deal per season, in year 3 and year 4, if you just share the wealth, if you are focusing on one strategy, joint venture 50-50 with somebody else, by year 4, you're going to have $244,000 in income. By the way, yes, you're making a lot of money. At the same time, as trained investor, we will teach you how to structure your corporation. And which company should be working with investors, which company should be holding the property, etc. Okay? And really, I think a lot of people are thinking, I'm not going to get the deal. I'm not going to have the money to do it. If you're in the community, a lot of people are looking for deals. It's really not the lack of resources that cause failure. It's a lack of resourcefulness. And we're here as your resources. Make sure you reach out to us. And we're so happy to be able to share. It really feels great when we see everybody getting on deals and making differences in their lives. We talk about that. So I do want to share something with you. I do want to share that, yes, a lot of people are worried about credit card debt and they do not know how to manage it. At the same time, we don't call it credit card. We don't call it bad debt. We call it investor cards because really money is credit. Money is debt. So these are the 2 examples out there in the market today. I can tell you I'm constantly looking for these deals, just like when I was a stay-at-home mom, I constantly look for coupons, look for deals. These are great deals. You're looking for bigger deals and more money, that is all. I don't recommend it to anybody. However, if you're trained and you want to learn how money transfer works, how it can create wealth, I can tell you can just do this and be really passive and constantly make money. At the same time, learn how to manage it. I will use the same example to show you how you can increase your ROI using credit cards. So really, it's not about how much it costs you. Some people look at the balance transfer fee of 3% and thinking that, oh my God, that's a lot of money. And if you can make $10,000, what is 1,000 in cost to you? So think about it. If you can make $10,000, what's $1,000 of cost to you? Really, you're just sharing the wealth and give your investor or people who provide you the money a little bit of your profit. That is all. That is all. And you're actually investing in yourself too. At the same time, learn how to do this. It's not about how much it costs you. Really, it's about how much it makes you. So when you look at the deal I presented, $86,000 seems like a lot of initial investment. However, in 3 years, you can make a total profit. That's after expenses are paid, over $100,000. What if you want to have a little bit more return on your investment? Let's assume you're using this particular credit card. And by the way, it is available right now. I presented 2 out there. There are 2 or 3 credit card companies offering pretty much the same thing. Sometimes the balance transfer could be a line of credit. Sometimes it could be a credit card as shown here. And Nina and Andrew and Vince and myself, we can show you that you can also accumulate some travel points and at the same time do a balance transfer. Or have free Home Depot dollars, for example, depending on your needs. So I'm just giving you some examples to show you that what if you want to improve the return on your investment. Using the same number, since we've gone through the example basically 3 times. The first time, simple number. The second time, if we use the same number to run the same deals 4 years consistently. If you do the same thing, 42% per year per deal. And one of the objections I heard is that I could probably only qualify for 20,000 of balance transfer. And let's see if you got 20,000 of balance transfer at 0% interest for a year, and then with 1% transfer fee. 1% transfer fee basically means that whatever you borrow, pay the 1% fee, you can have access to the $20,000 for free. By the way, what is the inflation rate? Does anybody know? Especially the interest rate just increased today. So the data was out there. And if you're following the news, Amar, do you know what the inflation rate is? Like, take a look at.
I mean, I think I know better in the US because I do like a lot of US investing in stocks and stuff, but I think it's around like 4%, 5%, somewhere in that range.
Yes,
And
you're exactly
I think
right.
it's not going anywhere either, but we'll see.
You're exactly right. It's 4 point something when the data was released today. So if somebody is willing to give you the money at 1% and inflation is 4%, it's really, why wouldn't you take it? That's the cost of money. And let's assume in this deal, you took the $20,000. So your initial investment, not out of your own pocket, is reduced by $20,000. At the same time, there's a fee of $200. So your initial investment, using the $20,000, not out of your own pocket, $86,000 minus $20,000 plus a $200 fee. Now this is your initial investment. Let's calculate your return on investment for the whole project now. Same lease option deal. Again, your profit at the end of the program in total is 109. And your initial investment is now only 66,700. Divide that by 3 years. Take out your calculator if you're curious. I'm just running the number with you. So compared to 42%, now your return is close to 55%. Close to 55%. Your $20,000 that you didn't put out can run somewhere else. And like Amar, you can invest in the States or you can invest in something else. so you have additional funds to work for you at the same time. Everybody follow balance transfer? That's just one example. We can show you in different strategies how it works. And I do want to have Nina sharing her experience with us right now. Nina, I can help you move the slides, or you want to take control, it's up to you. Now the stage is yours.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brooke. I will take control if that's okay. Awesome. As investors, we like to have control. So this is
Well said.
awesome. How is everyone holding up this evening? Can I get a thumbs up if you're doing good? And a double thumbs up if you can see my slides. Awesome, awesome. Great. Well, my name is Nina, and I am so excited to be here with all of you today. Brooke, thank you for always inspiring me to improve myself and make myself better. And we're all here making each other stronger and better for each other, as a community, as investors, as mentors, as coaches, and for all of us with each other. So my name is Nina. I am, okay, hold on. I went a little faster. My apologies. Okay, here we go. So my name is Nina, and that is my husband, Nikin. We are business partners, and yes, it is possible to be business partners with your spouse. You don't have to do it 50-50. You might be in an 80-20, 70-30, whatever it takes, it's possible. We are award-winning professionals, whether it's in our previous careers, for me in pharmacy and healthcare, now in real estate investing with the TYT community. I was once in your shoes as a student, as a potential student, as a student, and now I get to help share my journey, use my journey to help inspire you to go on your journey. I have won multiple awards within the TYT Academy as well, and my goal and purpose in life was to lead with impact, to serve and to feel fulfilled. I had a very successful career in pharmacy and in healthcare. However, it was all encompassing. It consumed multiple hours of my day, multiple percentages of my brain, and it was all I knew. I listed all my roles in my life here: as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, as an investor, as a coach, as a pharmacist. And if you asked me 4 or 5 years ago, the only thing I knew how to be was a pharmacist. And when I took inventory and took check of my life, yes, I enjoyed what I did. Yes, I made really good money. However, I was miserable because I wasn't able to give these other roles that I so wanted to give more of my time, enough time. And so my goal was to really create another way to live life, to be on an impact journey, and to have a desk around the world. As Brooke knows and the rest of the team knows, I love to travel, and I now get to take my laptop, have data on my phone, claim data expenses as a business expense, and do deals whenever, wherever, however, as well as change people's lives. Our goal is always to be the best we can be, no matter what we do. And in 2019, it started with a decision. And when I was sitting in your seat, I decided that I was so inspired that I wanted to take action. I took our boot camp and then decided to enroll into a 2-year program with the Academy. And we always say, have clarity around your goals. So I decided to make this vision board at that point in time. It seemed impossible. However, I can very proudly say, and this is very raw, but I can very proudly say that I've been able to check each one of these boxes. And at that point, it involved me taking responsibility for my life. As Jim Rohn says, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend your time with. And so between family, between friends, between investors, between business partners, between power team members, between some of my tenant buyers, these are all the people that have changed my life. In that top photo right there with me in a lab coat, that was my last day at the pharmacy, and I was able to lock that door. I was in tears in this picture because I built that store from ground up from when we had acquired it, but it was the best feeling to be able to lock the door, hug patients, and walk away. And so there we are. So what I wanted to share with you is my lease options opportunity. How many of you know where St. Thomas, Ontario is? Can I get raise hands? Awesome. And for those of you who don't know, it's right outside London, Ontario. And how many of you would like to change lives and make money at the same time? Show of hands, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4, all 4 limbs in the air. Awesome. So we had the opportunity to help this beautiful family, Lauren and Matt. And Lauren and Matt were making over $200,000 in their family. So some of you might be thinking $200,000 in London, Ontario, just a year ago. It's okay. It's good money. They should be able to get a mortgage. However, Lauren and Matt were stuck with a consumer proposal behind their name. How many of you know what a consumer proposal is? Anyone? Maybe? Okay, so in a very quick nutshell, and of course you will be learning more about this in our advanced classes, when it comes to qualification. However, a consumer proposal is a big red flag when you take an application to the bank in order to get approval for financing. So that was one challenge. Number 2, Lauren and Matt were having trouble saving for a down payment. They had been gifted $30,000, however, not enough to secure a down payment, especially with that consumer proposal behind their name. They were paying over $2,700 in rent, which was market for where they were at that point in time, right in downtown London. However, definitely, I mean, at that point, they really should be working towards their own home, making such good income. They just didn't know how to get out of this situation. They were stuck. And as you can see, that's a picture from Christmas time. They have a beautiful family, and just between the hustle of living life, providing for the family, having children, the span of 5 different ages, just needed that support and that structure to own their own home. How many of you would love to help a family like this if you could make it work? So once I was able to work with these tenant buyers, and just to put it out there, I get a lot of leads for tenant buyers. However, I'm very, 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 very selective with who I choose to work with, because we're not only assessing them from a financing perspective, we also want to make sure that their vision and their values align with mine and my investors. So we were able to qualify them using, with the help of my power team, using 2 different conservative approaches. Once we qualified Lauren and Matt, and this was at the heat of the market, Lauren and Matt got to go shopping with my realtor. And once they found the home that they loved, they wrote this beautiful letter. And again, many of you might be thinking, well, Nina, if you or your investor own the home, why are you getting Lauren and Matt to write the letter? Remember, they are picking the home, and this is going to be their home eventually. Our exit plan, if they fail from the program, or if they're not able to make it through, or if they have to move, is, yes, having the property. However, our first and foremost intention is for them to qualify and own that property. So deal analysis 2022, because I know many of you might be thinking, well, the Bank of Canada is constantly increasing rates, including today. When you present numbers, how real are they, and how has that changed? So I'm going to show that to you. Are you guys good to look at how the numbers have changed a little bit? Yeah, perfect. So purchase price, the current purchase price that we purchased the home was at about $576,000. The future purchase price is going to be $700,000, and I based this off a reasonable market appreciation that I figured out based on statistics and working with the realtor and using other data at 5% per year. Remember, I shared with all of you that Lauren and Matt had the capacity to save. They had $30,000 saved up. And that $30,000, as Brooke shared, I was able to utilize it into the acquisition of the property. And so the initial investment that I was looking for from an investor was about $97,000. The total monthly revenue is $3,300. I'm just rounding numbers right now to fly through the slides and make sure I keep my time on track. And the expenses is about $2,000, $2,050. So cash flow, total cash flow, monthly cash flow before a split with my investor is $1,334. And if we divide it in two, 50-50, that creates $667 in each of our pockets. Naga, what would $667 do for you?
That'll probably help me pay off my car and as well like go out for dinners a few times.
Awesome, awesome. Mitch, how does $667 help you?
That would be huge. That would pay half of my monthly mortgage payment.
Awesome, awesome. So that's great. It absolutely. The profit from sale after we pay off the mortgage, after we pay off any fees, legal fees, after we pay back the investor, after we give back the tenant buyers the $30,000 plus the monthly extra deposit payment they were putting toward to be used towards their down payment, the profit from sale is $114,000. Making the total profit from the deal over 4 years, $178,000. Divided by 2 again, because this was a 50-50 split. Now, some of you who might be new to this strategy or to real estate investing in general might be thinking, well, how is it fair that the money partner and the manager, that I get to split 50% of this deal with my partner? However, would my partner have a hands-off, very passive deal if I wasn't able to put this work in to manage our tenant buyers, to follow them through the program, and to make sure they're set up on track? And so this is where education makes a huge difference. Oftentimes I'm on Facebook and I see people trying to wholesale a realtor and nothing against realtors. However, people trying to wholesale a lease options deal without enough context as to how we found the tenant buyer, how they picked the home, without doing proper screening. And this is where, if we really want to set someone up for success, we have an ethical obligation to make sure we do the due diligence with the most accuracy and with the most thoroughness to make sure that we are continuously being solution providers and not creating more headaches at the end. As I'm sure you can imagine, it can become a very messy situation if not done correctly. So moving on, the ROI per year is 46%. And what's my ROI since I have not put any money into it? I mean, the answer is there, but Dream, what's my ROI?
Infinite.
Infinite. Sorry, can you say that louder?
Sorry, my mic was like away from my face. Infinite.
Okay, I got scared. I thought you don't like infinite returns. You didn't sound so excited. So jumping over to 2023 numbers. So really what I want to draw you here to is, yes, because we chose to go with a more variable mortgage at that point in time, my mortgage did go up about $1,600, the mortgage on the property. And so therefore, yes, our cash flow was affected at $667. But how many of you are still okay with making $330 per month? Naga, are you okay with that, or would you rather have nothing?
Yeah, that is still something like that is still, I'm not putting effort into it. More like that's a cash flow.
That's cash flow. Shrikant?
Yeah, I think minimum is 100 per door or something like that. So yeah, why not? 300 is still a good number.
330 still per door. And if we were aiming at for 100 per door when the interest rate was what it was last year, how do you think that deal is performing now with interest rates going up?
Yeah, negative.
So Shrikant, what would $333 do for you on a monthly basis?
Yeah, maybe for groceries. I know that inflation is definitely there, but yeah, it would definitely come handy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, how many of you are okay with having an infinite return? Awesome. I see Brooks Butterfingers going, right? So amazing. So what's in it for Lauren and Matt? So they have now a fixed rent at $25.50. I'm okay and I'm very happy because I have the systems and processes in place to do this multiple times. I'm not just using the $333. I'm multiplying that by 10, by 15, by 20, because I know how to do it, and it gets easier and easier each time. They're saving for their future down payment. Every month, a portion of their monthly payments are being saved up for them to eventually be converted to their down payment should they exercise their option to purchase. They picked a beautiful home. I mean, just it's gorgeous. And the picture she sent me a picture this morning actually with the baby with the legs dangling out of the crib and how she's trying to run around the whole house now. And it's amazing that we get to be a part of their lives that way. They have a customized and tailored plan to take them through the process and hold their hand up. We are holding them accountable. They're having financial reviews every 6 months to a year. And we really become a sounding board to really ensure that they're able to purchase that home at the end of the program. I'm able to give my investor back their initial investment, and we all walk away happy with the profit. And they know what their future home price is going to be. Remember, I told you it's $700,000 based on 5% per year. Right now, the work they've done to the yard, the painting they have done, they're benefiting from any of those gains once they exercise their option to purchase. What's in it for me? So I am a serial entrepreneur. I run 4 different businesses of my own, as well as some consulting businesses. And with this, I love, some people ask me, you don't work any less than you did when you were a pharmacist. And they're right. However, the difference is I have control, I have flexibility, and I can bounce between multiple different projects. It keeps me energized and beating. I never have to retire again. I get to travel the world. And as I said, as long as I have internet and some data, I get to declare that as a business expense and still keep very much engaged with my business. I get to help my dad run his business, and we get to go out for lunch 2 or 3 times a week. And that's him laughing across from me. And that's my husband and I in Uganda, where our family helped open up a ward at one of the hospitals there from one of my in-laws' hometown. It takes activity to become passive. We all dream about passive income. That word is used so loosely. However, you have to be active to become passive. It takes commitment. It takes hard work. It takes being resourceful. However, with the right mindset, with the right attitude, and if you surround yourself with the right system, the right people, success always leaves clues. It's very, very possible. And Brooke, myself, Andrew, Vince, Mike, 13 other coaches, mentors, and trainers, we're all doing this because we are in that giving mentality. We want to do this because we want to lead with impact, and we want all of you to be inspired to do the same thing. If you haven't read the book, The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, I know all of us would highly endorse that. And like I said, don't be greedy. Yes, I could technically increase rent year over year. Yes, technically I could go and really flex my muscle and be the landlord for my tenant buyers. However, why do I need to if they are following through and going above and beyond to fulfill their obligations and commitment? And these are just a couple of messages where where they've sent me pictures of what they've done to their home, of clearing up their yard. She called me for some support and some advice because she was going up for a promotion, and she was just really grateful for the mentorship. You get to decide how engaged you want to be in their journey. What's in it for my investor? It's a medium-term investment, 3 to 4 years against a hard asset. I mean, how many people right now are making 18 to 20% on investments with changing economic times? How much is your GIC or your mutual fund making you? Something you don't have control over. And if you get educated, you have the option to have control. And not one size fits all. I have more wallets open to me. However, for me, it's very, very important to pair the right investor with the right strategy and the right deal. It's a controllable return, and cash flow is seen from day one. It doesn't require any stabilization like other strategies do. Not wrong of other strategies. However, if cash flow is the #1 goal initially, or you're looking to starting to displace some of that day-to-day job income, this is a great strategy to be able to put into action and create that. And in every industry, there are bad apples. And so when I interviewed a few different realtors. I learned with my mentor how to ask the right questions. And this is one of my realtors out in London, Ontario, who had a real negative viewpoint about rent to own because she had only heard negative things about it in the media. However, because she had faith in my education, she was aware of my mentor's journey, she decided that she was going to work with me on this opportunity. And she was blown away with how structured it was, the contracts that were in place to protect everyone involved, including the tenant buyers, including myself, including my investor. Now my realtor sends me leads and we work on this business together in that region because she's so confident in the program and the types of results we're creating. So this quote, I love it. Helping people grow and achieve their dreams is the fastest route to success, both theirs and yours.
Thank you, Nina, for sharing. Everybody learned a lot from Nina's experience. Yes. Thank you for sharing, Nina. And those pictures are beautiful. I bet you cried when you look at them. The thank you notes, your new home ornaments.
Thank you. Yes, I absolutely love it. It put the biggest smile on my face, and it's good security on the investment too. It makes us feel very good that everything's good and under control.
Yes, thank you. By the way, I do want to mention one thing because you did mention that as well. Yes, a lot of the time people look at appreciation. Every strategy is different. Today we focus on one strategy. This is really focusing on cash flow, return on your investment. When you get a distressed property, for example, you're looking forced appreciation. So for some people, looking for appreciation, looking for different ways of having control over your investment, depending on your goal, look at different strategies. And you might not have just one goal. You might have several. Today, really the point is to show you, yes, there are ways for you to run a little bit faster. And why is that? Why did I focus on your 40-year compressed to 4 years? And a deal that makes you $600 per month. For me, when I started, one deal was to take my whole family back. My very first deal was actually a wholesale lease option deal. So $6,000 bought everybody a ticket to go home for my family. Really, it's what it brings to you. Once you're more educated, you might want to mix up the strategy as well. So I want to make sure you're focusing on compressing your time. Nothing wrong one strategy over another, really what fits your goal. And different strategy will all take you there as long as you follow the basics of goal SMP and go back to what your whys are. And I do like this clip because it emphasizes how important your time is.
Who do we spend most of our time with? This is our time spent with family. It starts with a lot and then drops dramatically in our 20s. This is our time spent with friends. It looks like it peaks when we're in college and then just drops. This is our time spent with our partner. That's where all of our time went. This is our time spent with children. This shows how little time we're going to be able to spend with our children before they grow up. This one is crazy to me. Time spent with coworkers is so high for so much of our life because of our jobs. Our time spent alone looks like it increases quite a bit the older we get and never stops growing. It's easy to forget how valuable time is.
I love that. And really, for me, financial freedom is not about collecting properties or just fixing things. Really, what's behind it? Because of what real estate can bring to us. And even for me, is to sharing the journey. So you can spend time with whoever you want in whichever way, however you want. Everybody's different. I do love to travel. And perhaps camping is not my thing, and there are a lot of things I don't know. At the same time, I enjoy people. I'd love to share my time with you. That's how I choose to spend my time. Is whenever you want and do it with whoever you want. And I hope you do see that there is a map. And this is my intention for you to see, yes, there are ways of creating cash flow. One of the biggest objections I heard in today's real estate market is that whenever there's an opportunity, everybody jumps in. And as a result, there's no cash flow. because people push the price to the point that you're not going to create cash flow. And it is your job as an investor to be creative, to see the opportunity. And for the time we have, we did show you one strategy. And even with other people's money, even with credit card, you can increase your ROI in the long term, create wealth, and really go back to think of your own life. What does $600 mean to you? And I know some people can qualify for a deal themselves. And 3 deals is going to bring them $4,000, $48,000. And if you're in this journey in 2 to 4 years, how quickly can you get a raise if you just focus on a job? Average Canadian income, $70,000. How quickly can you get a 55% increase of your paycheck? So even if you focus on lease option as a side hustle, or that's not usually the term I use, because I think everything we do, we put in our all and we focus on it because we're so passionate about it. However, if time is your limitation at this point in life, if you just have 1 deal per season, like how we showed you, and if you're older like me, accumulated a little bit of capital, or if you're young, you have the connection and you share the wealth 50%. So even if $80,000, share half, $40,000. I showed you, you can quickly get $100,000 per year. What if you share the wealth, $50,000? How quickly can you grow your wealth? And really the point is to take you to the next level. You might already be in it. And if that's the case, we're sharing our experiences. So my intention is to educate, to inspire, and I hope you have a little bit of fun, or a lot of fun, going through the strategy with the team right here. I like the number in 3s because this is easy for you to remember. And likely this is going to be a 3-year plan for your tenant buyer, for yourself. And 3 stages: acquisition, during the program, and at the end of the program. And you're making profit at every stage. And what's different from us is everybody on the team, coaches, mentors, trainers, we're all active investors. So we know how to set things up properly. Yes, there are noises out there regarding lease option and rent to own. There are people focused on transactional relationships. However, our goal is to be in this in the long run. So Trust Your Talent is here to stay. And we're here as investors focusing on long-term goals, setting everybody up for success. Yourself, your investors, your tenant buyer. And the screening, the contracts are very important. And that's why we focus on being active investors at Trust Your Talent. I do want to share that with you. And in the background, investor mindset. This is actually the whole presentation today. I map it out for you like a GPS. If anything is unclear, make sure you reach out to your strategy coaches. Again, if you think it's just a dream. If you envision it, yes, it is possible. If you schedule it with your strategy coach and map it out as a 2 to 4 year plan, then it's real. While I was reading the comments, I know some of you are asking for the webinar presentation. So reach out to your strategy coach. I do want to mention that we are giving out 2 tickets to the webinar, to the boot camp. That's gonna come up soon. So if you haven't done that, make sure you take out your camera, take a picture of the QR code, reach out to one of us. And we're going to provide you with a webinar presentation. If you haven't completed your strategy plan, road mapping, reach out to your strategy coach. There are workshops and boot camp coming up. There's online live. If you're not able to travel, at the same time, I highly encourage you to travel and be with us in Toronto at the live workshop. That's going to be happening July 15th and 16th. There's a lot going on, and we actually have a TYT Connect happening right now in London, Ontario. I know some of us are feeling FOMO, missing out. I know I am. At the same time, I'm crazy passionate about being here with all of you. So if you missed that one, we're going to have more coming up as well. And it is a community. I know students are meeting up themselves at the same time. By the way, I want to recognize that Mohammed, Miranda, Benny, Mitch, Naga, Suzanne, Amar, Srikanth, you're all having your camera on. And Olu, you just turned it off, so I appreciate you. Jering, I didn't forget you. Get excited about infinite return on investment. So I do want to see you in person and call to action. Make sure you book your 3-step calls with your strategy coach. And this is what it's like to be live with us.
I belong to you. I belong to you. Do just what you want. You're the one I trust. And I always be around when I need some loving, baby.
Trust Your Talent is just an amazing, amazing community. I always tell people how it is about the people that you surround yourself with, and the people of Trust Your Talent are so warm and open and caring and trustworthy. I've done many partnerships with people in Trust Your Talent, and I have really expanded my real estate investing knowledge.
This is my first time here at the Trust Your Talent annual conference, and it's just been unbelievable energy from everybody, unbelievable networking, and lots of learning.
So people have asked me why Trust Your Talent. Do you guys run a modeling agency? I used to say no, that's not what we do. And then the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of going, you know what, that's exactly what we do. Because every single one of you in this room, every single one of you in this room is a role model. For everybody else out there in your life, or just out there, period, that yearns for something more and something better out of their own lives. So I really do believe that every single one of us is that role model. So give yourselves a round of applause, please.
You fall off track. That's okay. Don't worry. We all do. Get back up and charge forward. You are responsible for you. Don't leave your journey in someone else's hands. Begin with the end in mind and keep flexing your proactive muscles to make things happen.
Thank you, everybody, for staying till the end with the team here. And I do recognize there are questions in the chat, and I will stay till the end. Thank you for all the claps. I can see your emoji. Thank you very much. I will stay till the end if you have any questions. I know somebody was asking, how do you scale? Mohammed, you were asking, how do you double and triple? Mitch, I know you recently have deals, so I actually would like to volunteer you and share and answer Mohammed's question.
Yeah, sure. I can definitely share what I'm focusing on. So for me at this point, with where I'm at with my business, working with JV partners is the way to scale. I don't have the mortgage ability to do 4 or 5 on my own. So yeah, 100%. It's finding other investors who are looking for a great return and have similar values as I do, want to help people and want to make money while doing it, basically.
Does that answer your question? Yes? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Anybody else have a question? If not, you know, we're always here for you and you can reach out to your strategy coaches. Make sure you're here with us in July. I do want to see everybody live at the workshop in Toronto. And I know it's late for some of you. So thank you for staying till the end. We will share the slides if you reach out to your strategy coaches. And yes, we do have 2 tickets to give out. If you're the early action takers, So thank you for being here with us again. Thank you for having your cameras on. And I won't keep you any longer if you don't have any questions. So good night, everybody.
Good night.